This system is the secret to get anything done in life. Using this sheet of paper is going to guarantee you success in any field of any creative endeavor. But before you can understand the power of this system, let's dive into the system of one of the greatest artists of all time. In 1906, Mahler is composing his Symphony Number 8. He has this burning desire to become one of the great composers of his time. He is very proud of his skills. He's very talented, and he knows he's talented because everybody is saying how great he already is. There's just one problem. He hasn't actually achieved anything yet. He hasn't gotten his big break yet. His compositions did not reach the masses yet. And so he starts to worry. Does he in fact have what it takes? Does he in fact know how to push himself into the history books? And on top of that, in 1907, he is diagnosed with a heart condition. And so now he suddenly realizes that the clock is ticking, that he might actually get a heart attack at any given moment now. And so now he's fearing for his life. And in his fear, he has to come up with a plan. He has to come up with a way to write his name into the history books. And so here's what he does. He decides to spend the whole summer in the Austrian Alps in a cabin alone, away from the distractions of the city, away from everybody. Nobody can contact him. He can barely speak to anyone. He's in complete isolation, monk mode, before monk mode was a thing. And the idea is to make life so boring that he cannot but work on his symphony, that he cannot but make something that's truly great. Surrounded by the mountains and the streams and the waterfalls, he is so inspired, so energized, more energized than he's ever felt in his entire life. Every day after his morning walk, he would sit in his cabin at his desk, drink his cup of tea, and imagine the symphony unfold in front of his eyes. Little did Mahler knew at that time, in that cabin in the Austrian Alps, that several years later, a little under 1,000 musicians would gather in Munich, would practice for months, so that in 1910 they would be able to play in front of the German crowd in complete synchronicity, complete perfection, complete harmony, the Symphony of 1,000. A symphony we still talk about today and that is still being played today. Now a question we can ask ourselves is, would Mahler have been able to create Symphony Number 8 if he would have allowed himself to be distracted by the city distractions and not go on a yearly isolation monk mode exercise in the Austrian Alps? Perhaps not. Are you able to write your Symphony Number 8 if you allow yourself to watch YouTube 3 hours a day? Are you able to make your masterpieces if you allow yourself to throw your energy away by eating all of that fast food crap and stuffing it into your mouth? Perhaps not. So let's think about this. What happens when people want to chase their dreams? They want to make their own version of Symphony Number 8. They want to change their life, do something. Well, we know what happens because every January people create these New Year's resolutions, which is nothing more than their expression of what their micro Symphony Number 8 would look like. And then by the time it's February, nobody is jacked, nobody is rich, everybody gave up on their New Year's resolutions, and everything is exactly the same as it was in December. And so what is happening there? Well, the reality is that New Year's resolutions are actually laziness in disguise. They're actually an expression of procrastination itself. Because here's what happens. In January, you are excited, you are energized, you are on top of the world. You know that this year it's gonna change, this year it's gonna be different. And so you have all of this ambition and extremely high hopes, and with all of this enthusiasm you create your plan, and then your plan is nuts. It's like way too ambitious, it's way too crazy. You want to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds or 500 kilograms by the time it's April. That's unreal. You can't do, nobody can do that. You want to sell 20 pieces of art in 3 months when in reality you haven't sold a single goddamn thing in the last 3 years. Those are unrealistic expectations. Now, here's the thing. Laziness, procrastination loves unrealistic expectations because it knows that you will not meet your expectations, and it knows that when you don't meet your expectations you will be disappointed and then you will quit. And that's exactly what laziness wanted in the first place. And so having these extreme ambitious goals, planning things out, is actually an expression of procrastination. Planning doesn't work. This sheet of paper has nothing to do with planning. It has nothing to do with having a particular goal, with knowing exactly where you want to get in life. It has nothing to do with that. The thing that Mahler was doing had nothing to do with planning particular outcomes and results, because the reality is that he didn't knew beforehand what the results needed to look like. The reason why people don't get jacked, why people don't get a six-pack, the reason why some of my friends who were starting at the same point as me don't have a six-pack is because they set themselves a particular expectation that was just made up. They told themselves or gave themselves 2 years or 1 year. The problem with the type of planning mentality is that you don't actually know how long it will take. You don't actually know how long it for your body type will take. The problem with setting yourself an expectation of I will have 10,000 subscribers 6 months from now is that you simply don't know how long it will take. You only know what is necessary. You only know that you need to eat healthy, work out on a regular basis, sleep, and that then at some point for your body type you will have a six-pack. The same with subscribers. You know that if you write every single day and then you record what you have written and you do that for a particular period of time that is undefinable, you can't define this, that at some point you will have 10,000 subscribers. You know this, you just don't know when. And so planning doesn't actually work. This sheet of paper solves all of that. It is the opposite of planning. It is the opposite of a calendar. It is the opposite of all of those things that are very famous nowadays. Here's the problem with all of these calendar types of people. People who put their gym time in a calendar, they don't actually get checked. People who need to plan it in once a week, then once a week doesn't work. If something is only worth doing once a week, perhaps you shouldn't do it at all. Perhaps you just scratch it out of your life. If something, however, is worth doing every single day, why don't just do it every single day? And so the question that I ask myself is, what is the one thing that would make everything else obsolete? What is the one thing that is extremely important, so important that it would actually result in me achieving the thing that I want to achieve inevitably? And then I do that thing on a daily basis. When Mahler locked himself in a cabin in the mountains in the Alps, he wasn't thinking about how to combine his dinners with his parties with his no. He just thought by himself, what's the one thing that I have to do? And then he put himself in a position to only do that one thing. If you are doing to-do lists and planners and all of that stuff, you are practicing becoming good at fantasizing about doing the thing in the future. And here's the thing, fantasizing about doing the thing, fantasizing about what the perfect structure and practice is not actually doing the thing itself. Thinking is not the same as doing. And so what is the system that I personally use? This is the hash mark system. Hash mark system, probably used as the early forms of accounting systems in the Roman Empire and Chinese culture. Ancient Chinese culture was built on top of these types of things. And so this type of stuff works, you know. And what is the hash mark system? Well, it's very simple. Instead of planning things out, instead of writing the things that you will do in the future, you only put a hash mark, a stripe, every time you've done something. So you're not tracking the future, you're not tracking your fantasy, you are only tracking what you have done in reality, what you have done this week. Now, what are you going to track? This is very important. You are not going to track any of the bullshit stuff. You're only going to track the 20% things that will have 80% of the impact. The type of things that you know, if you do them every single day, you will inevitably, no matter what, get the results. And so let's take a look at this particular sheet that I have in front of me now. So what you're going to do is you are going to divide everything into weeks. So this is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and then you will write down the activities that you have to do in order to accomplish the goal that you have with certainty. So this is very important. You have to write down what you have to do to accomplish it with certainty. And so in terms of, for example, working out, this is a workout sheet. We have pull, we have legs, we have abs, we have push and we have shoulders. And so what does that mean? Well, we put in a stripe every time we do a set of these particular muscle groups. This piece of paper is all you need. How many stripes are this? 250 stripes, 300 stripes? Do this. Literally this sheet of paper multiplied by 5, that's 5 years. And I can guarantee you that anyone with the worst genetics in the world would be jacked to some extent. It's this simple, and it's this for everything. For your YouTube channel, for your social media pages, for your brand in general, for your sales, for your business, anything that you know you should be doing on a daily basis that will lift your life up. This is the way. Now this whole system, everything about it is completely worthless if you are not able to start doing the thing in the first place. And we all know that the hardest part of a workout is not the workout itself. The hardest part of selling art is not selling art itself. The hardest part of making videos online is not making the video. It's starting to make the video in the first place. It's starting the activity itself. And because of that, I've made a free PDF checklist with over 50 quick start hacks to trick your brain into starting doing the thing, meaning you'll never feel like you've wasted your day because you didn't even start chasing your dreams in the first place. Link for the free guide in the description. That said, get the hell out of here.